We gather this evening to honor a very extraordinary man. Eric Kassoff is very special to his family and to everyone in this room, to so many in this town, and way beyond in this country and Israel and more. And he's very special to me. You know, I have known Eric and his beautiful family for almost 10 years now. And I have been with them through moments of joy, moments of sacredness, as well as moments of pain and uncertainty, as well as moments of hope and renewed strength. And when you get to bear witness to someone going through the journey of life like that, you get to see what a person is really made of. And I'll tell you something about Eric Kassoff. You can tell just by looking at him, he's a strong guy. And that's true. He's strong inside and out. But Eric has something to teach us through who he is and how he lives his life about the real meaning of what strength is in life. You see, when we think about the idea of having strength, you know, think about that gesture I just did, your clenched fist and tensed up. But Eric teaches us something very important, that real, true strength is the opposite of that. Real strength, real courage is the strength to open your hand to others. Real strength is the ability not to be tensed up and closed, but to be open and present for those around you and those in need in life and in the world. Like it says in the Ashrei, Poteach et yadecha umaspir l'chol chai ratzon, that God opens God's hand, and in that opening of the hand, that act of divine strength, all life is sustained. Eric Kassoff exudes great strength because he lives that principle in his life. When his family went through a time of crisis, I witnessed Eric be a human being who was able to be so present that he could move past the fear and past uncertainty and simply be a loving presence for his family when they needed him. That's what I call real courage and real strength. And that's why so many of us so appreciate him, and we're here to honor him tonight. And Eric continues through the years to be a giving, open-handed, open-hearted presence to the Jewish people, to the state of Israel, and to many causes of justice in this world. It's very fitting that Eric will receive a reward tonight that will bear the Hebrew words, Eitz Chaim hi lemachazikim ba. It is a tree of life to those who hold on to it, and all those who depend on it are content. Now, those words were written about Torah, but they can equally describe Eric Kassoff. He's a man of strength. In the Jewish tradition, a tree has long been a symbol of strength. Why? Because it's got roots planted firmly in the earth. It gives of itself and its fruit freely without expectations of reward, and it opens up to the heavens. It opens up to life. We say tzaddik katamar yifrach, that a tzaddik, a righteous person, is like that tree because they have that strength to be giving, caring, present, and open. So, Eric, what I'm going to say to you tonight, I know I'm embarrassing you because I'm talking all about you, but what I'm going to say to you, my official rabbinic pronouncement is that we're recognizing you tonight as a tzaddik, as a righteous one among our people. And AJC honors you tonight because you're a living embodiment of what AJC aspires to be in the world, to be that presence, to foster understanding and peace and justice in the world. And you are a living embodiment for us all as we live our lives in this world that is very frightening at these times that we live in. We're living in a time where everything is so polarized, where there are culture wars, where there are Jews against Jews, where there are Gentiles against Jews, where there are notions of truth against lies in our society all the time. Eric is a man who can show us how to overcome the challenges of our world and always face toward healing. It's about never closing off, never shutting down, never giving up on the possibility of hope, and never giving into fear. That's the kind of man that Eric Kassoff is. And through his example, he shows us that real healing is about always never giving up the search for kindness, for caring, for understanding, for bridge building, and to self-sacrifice for the sake of humanity and dignity and justice and for love. So may we indeed all follow Eric's wonderful example in our lives and have the courage to open our hearts past fear to being present for each other. And in doing that, may we all learn how to heal this world. And let us all say amen.
Thank you for being here to honor everyone's attorney and good friend, Eric Kassoff. Eric is a natural leader, philanthropist, real estate attorney, businessman, intellectual, outdoorsman, teacher, and mentor. Eric Kassoff has dedicated his life to helping organizations in the business and nonprofit world grow and achieve their potential. When Eric was offered this honor, he did not hesitate because he understands the critical work that AJC does as the leading global Jewish advocacy organization. Eric knows that AJC officials and supporters develop key relationships with U.S. and foreign leaders on every continent, as well as with Christians and Muslims in local communities around the U.S. He understands that through these relationships, AJC works tirelessly to enhance Israel's security and that of Jews and other minorities of all ethnicities around the world. Eric gets this because he shares these values and has been working on these issues his whole career. Eric is a leader in the Washington community and a man of action. He serves as the legal counsel to the Maryland and D.C. chapter of NAIOP, the top real estate organization in the country, and he's also served on their national board of directors. He served for over a decade as the general counsel for the JCC of Greater Washington. We have Michael Feinstein, the CEO, with us here tonight, as well as Lisi Gottanker, former president of the JCC. Glad to have you here. Eric has also served on the board and half a dozen subcommittees of the Jewish Federation for the last 5 years. Plus, he does pro bono work for them, as well as many other organizations. People are drawn to Eric Kassoff. They respect his deeds, his intellect, and his character. I recall a few years ago when Eric and Kerry co-chaired the annual Jessa Ball with Wendy and Danny Abramowitz, who are also here tonight, at the Shoreham Hotel. Under their leadership, the ball attracted so many people, they had to add a second ballroom to hold the crowd. Yes, there were 2 full ballrooms. When have you ever seen that before? And just last year, Eric and Kerry co-chaired the Heroes Gala for the Children's National Medical Center. They doubled the attendance from prior years and raised almost $1 million, which was a record. Eric and Kerry bring people together. They get people invested in the causes that are closest to their hearts. Just last month, Eric led the business track on the Federation mission to Israel. He was so driven to make the experience special to those who participated, including my wife and I, that he went to Israel previously to find the most interesting businesses we could visit. And he came through with meetings at the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange, Facebook's office, WeWork, and a visit to the Allen Hospital, where doctors and entrepreneurs are inventing medical devices to help disabled people around the world. Like AJC, Eric understands that supporting people in need requires face-to-face meetings to build strong alliances and connections. Eric believes in the power of relationships. He has long been an active leader and supporter of AIPAC, as a member of the National Council, where he has a direct one-on-one relationship with a congressman, and he lobbies other representatives and senators to support the U.S.-Israel relationship. And I'm proud to say that Eric was my founding co-chair of the AIPAC Real Estate Division here in Washington, which has grown over the last 5 years to attract hundreds of people to its events and to be a major force in the pro-Israel community. But Eric is not just a man of the community and a man of action. What makes him so unique is that he is also a person of deep substance. Eric's thirst for knowledge is second to none. He can tell you about Israel's latest airplanes and missile defense systems, including their range and technical specifications. Eric is also a trustee of the Washington Institute for Near East Policy, the leading think tank that advises the White House, the Pentagon, State Department, CIA, and other agencies on Middle East issues. Eric hosted an intimate trustee lunch a few years ago at Equinox Restaurant, one of the top restaurants in DC, I would like to say. So he hosted this lunch with a visiting senior Egyptian diplomat. And Eric knew all the right questions to ask this diplomat about Egypt's relations with Israel. It's no surprise that Eric was selected for the Wexner Heritage Program, which seeks out, there's a table of Wexner graduates here. Over here. So it's no surprise he was selected for that. It's a very prestigious program. It seeks out prominent Jewish leaders who take their learning seriously. It's a multi-year program of classes and trips around the world, meeting with leading Jews in the US and in Israel and elsewhere. And in addition to all these things, Eric somehow finds time to teach at Georgetown University's master's degree program in real estate, where he greatly enjoys helping people and mentoring young people. I want to close with a story about a powerful experience that Eric and I had with our wives and some other people in this room just last month on a Federation trip to the Berlin Jewish community. We met a community leader named Martin who told us something that I will never forget. He said he feels safer to be a Jew in Germany because of the AJC. I asked him why, and he told us this story. He said that when people in Germany were protesting against Israel during the 2014 Gaza war, AJC's officials in its Berlin office met numerous times with Angela Merkel's government, which resulted in the government speaking out in support of Israel's right to defend herself when Hamas rockets were raining down on Israel. So AJC's global reach raised the influence of this small Jewish community in Germany. And AJC does this every day in communities in North and South America, Europe, and Asia. So Eric, and each of you, through your philanthropy and support of this event, are helping AJC make a difference in the world. Eric is someone that we have all come to depend on and be inspired by, and that is why we have chosen Eric Kassoff to be the honoree tonight. Thank you. And I meant to say everyone's a good friend, Eric Kassoff, because you're all good friends of Eric's. I now invite to the stage AJC Regional President Toby Dershowitz and AJC Regional Director Alan Ronkin, and our honoree, Eric Kassoff.
I have the privilege of reading what is written on this beautiful award. In recognition of your commitment to our community, the 2017 Civic Achievement Award is presented to Eric Kassoff this day, November 29, 2017, by AJC Washington. As Rabbi Steinloff said, the award says, Eitz Chaim hi l'machazikim ba v'tomchei meushar, d'rachei darchei noam v'chol netivoteo shalom. That the Torah is a tree of life for those who grab onto it. Its ways are ways of sweetness, and all of its paths are peace. Eric, you personify those values in your work in the Jewish community and around the world. We thank you, and we honor you tonight with our Civic Achievement Award.
Thank you.
Please sit down. Thank you. Please sit down. Bruce, I think you forgot to mention my 6th grade soccer participation award. Thank you very much. I am completely humbled by this recognition and honored by your presence here this evening. Truly, truly moving. I want to thank the AJC for this award and for all of you for your support and friendship. You give a lawyer a microphone and you're in trouble. It's only 20 pages, but don't worry, the font's really big. I think I'd like to start with a very important tradition in the Jewish faith, and that's by thanking my mother and my wife for everything. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. Perhaps the most famous prayer in the Jewish liturgy, the Shema pronounces both Jewish adherence to monotheism and the interconnectedness of all things, a universal oneness. The original Mosaic revealed at Mount Sinai, this theme is common across cultures. The Church of England's John Donne spoke that no man is an island entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent. Gautam Buddha taught that oneness was not a goal, but the reality of life. And Bob Marley sang most beautifully of one love and one heart. How can it be denied? The interconnectedness of humankind across continents, across the ages, that's what we're emphasizing tonight in these troubled times. We see it in our personal, in our professional, in our family connections. We see it in how leaders like Gil Steinlauf and Congressman Matthew Cartwright fight to promote human rights here in D.C. and around the world. We see it in the work of AJC, the Federation of Greater Washington, AIPAC, the JCC, and the Washington Institute. And we see it here tonight, all in support of a common cause. The idea of interconnectedness is powerful. Despite the differences in our world, our shared human experience reminds us that we are more alike than different, that we share in feeling the same emotions of joy and of pain. My trip to Berlin last month made this all very, very clear. I had long feared going to Germany. Going meant coming face to face with the systemic evil of the concentration camps. I was afraid. I was afraid of bearing witness to this because I felt it might taint my humanity, afraid I could not do justice to the memory of the murdered. I think we've all wondered how we would behave if subjected to the depredations that our ancestors felt. Would we have faced the brutality, the pain, the suffering, the death with bravery? Or would we have done just anything we possibly could to survive? Despite my fears, I traveled with the Federation Israel Mission, as Bruce mentioned. We spent a week in Berlin, and I traveled with many in this room, I'm very proud to say. We spent a week in Berlin, followed by a week in Israel. And in going, my perspective changed. I realized that perhaps we, have been asking the wrong question. The question isn't how would we have responded to the evils that our ancestors faced. The question is how do we respond to the evils of today? Our people may no longer face the threat of the concentration camps, but the values we have long held dear are now under siege. Evil remains a real and powerful force in our world, coming in many forms, some far away, like the Hamas and Iran's deeply anti-Semitic denial of the right of Israel to exist, and some very close at home, like the rampant xenophobia and racism that we recently witnessed in Charlottesville. For 3,000 years, Jews have told their children and the world, be good, be kind, be honest, be moral. My kids have only had to listen to it for 20 years. It is truly one of the most revolutionary messages in human history. We were chosen to be, as the prophet Isaiah said, Or Lagoyim, a light unto the nations, protectors and advocates of diversity, tolerance, and human rights. How do we then carry this torch into the future? Yes, my trip was a reminder of the suffering of our people, but also the harbinger of a hopeful future. If we were able to vanquish the evil embodied by Nazi Germany, we can defeat that evil again today. My time in Berlin reminded me that ourselves, collectively and individually, have a role to play in making the world a better place, one good deed at a time. That we are not bound together by the Holocaust, by apathy, or by any other dark moment of our past. We are bound to a great continuing enterprise, preserving our heritage and our values by seeing the interconnectedness of our story with the world's. In my travels, I was met with an opportunity to take another step towards this firm belief. In Germany, I met with AJC's Berlin director, Deirdre Berger, fabulous person, a tireless worker. She promotes the strong transatlantic ties that we hold so dear, a deepened understanding of Israel and Mideast affairs, firm responses to anti-Semitism and extremism, and the promotion of democracy worldwide. As a result, Deirdre and the AJC have developed a very, very strong relationship with many of Europe's elites and their leaders, and I left that meeting very encouraged and motivated. Upon arrival in Israel, the Federation arranged a meeting with Leah and Simcha Golden, two parents whose son Hadar, an Israeli soldier, was killed in combat in Gaza. I'd like to introduce you to Tzur Golden, his brother.
I am Tzur Golden, twin brother to First Lieutenant Hadar Golden. Hadar Golden, who was killed and kidnapped by Hamas terrorists and whose dead body is being held for ransom inside Gaza. I am here today to bring my brother home. Like me, Hadar Golden was an officer in the Special Forces of the IDF. Like me, Hadar Golden was a commander of Israel's Sons. Like me, Hadar knew combat from a very young age. Like me, Hadar went forward not to conquer another people, but to bring safety to his own people. But unlike me, Hadar Golden never returned from his last battle. I am Tzur Golden, twin brother to First Lieutenant Hadar Golden, and I am here today to bring my brother home.
I'm very pleased to report that AJC is now working in concert with several foreign governments to secure Hadar's remains. And unfortunately, this story doesn't yet have a final ending, but it's one small example of how we all can live as Or Lagoyim by asking, how can I help? I did nothing that any of you in this room couldn't or wouldn't do if you choose to. We have tremendous resources and talents in this community. If you are truly concerned about the polarization of our politics, the preachers of hate, the senseless death and destruction which is so pervasive in so many regions of our global community, ask yourself, what can I do? For me, this award serves as a reminder that our community has values well worth preserving, that we are an integral part of that global community, and as such, we have a responsibility to protect it, to practice tikkun olam, to repair this world, to fight to fulfill our commitment to learn from the past so as not to let history repeat itself, so we can say never again and mean it. Seize every opportunity to use your abilities, your time, your resources, your skills to step up. Partner with organizations like AJC to look brutality and the evil in this world in the eye with courage and conviction. We have great power to make a difference together as one interconnected family. I love you, thank you, and good night.